And the final game that we have for this episode probably does not need an introduction, but is the classic game, Shadows over Camelot, and we're wrapping in the expansion Merlin's Company as well. We played this quite a bit, and Matt, just tell us the details.
Yeah, designed by Bruno, Cathala, and Serge Laget. Artist is Cyrille Daujean and Julien Delval, and published by Days of Wonder.
Cool. I'm going to assume everyone in the world probably knows how to play this. And if you're looking for a review or how to play, you're not watching this video anyway. So we're not even really going to explain how to play the game.
Okay.
Basically, you already know Shadows of Camelot. Although I will explain a couple of things from the expansion.
Right.
Because I think the expansion is kind of hard to find, and not a lot of people may have played with it. So the first thing it adds is a lot more black cards to the evil deck, and they are very harsh.
Witches.
The witches, yeah, they are very bad cards. Way worse than any of the special cards that are in the base set. It also adds a lot of blue or white cards that give you a lot of cool abilities, such as I don't remember all the white ones actually. I think I know some of them, but I don't want to point them out and get them wrong. But I do know that there is a fight card that has a question mark, and you decide when you play it. So I thought that was a really cool addition. The biggest thing it adds, another thing it adds actually is another character card for every one of the player colors, except for King Arthur. King Arthur always has to be the same character. Otherwise, it adds a new character, which comes with two. It's like yellow. He comes with 2 cards, and then every other color character comes with a second card. So now
you can play it up to 8.
You can play it to 8, and you're not always forced to use, like if you're the purple guy, I don't remember their character names. You have 2 different characters you can play with the purple miniature. They're actually different names, and they have a different special ability. The last thing that adds, which is probably the biggest thing, is Merlin, and he has a travel deck. So anytime you choose to move to a quest, you have to flip over a card from the travel deck first to see if you can probably not move.
Right.
There's a couple of cards that say nothing happened. There's a couple of cards that Merlin will travel with you and be at that quest. And then most of the other cards are bad. You'll get captured and have to spend cards to fight your way out. You might have to fight a siege engine because it spawns randomly because it's an MMO now. There's a couple of other ones. Yeah, ambushed.
Where someone else has to spend their turn playing a white card to...
sacrificing a special white card to let you out. So it's like you went to jail.
Yeah.
Don't collect $200. And when Merlin is on the quest and you're there, you get to draw a white card on your turn as a free action. So it's pretty important to get him to where he moves into a quest that you're trying to actively try to finish.
Right.
Because then if there's multiple people there, then everybody gets a lot of cards, and it's, fun times. So the other thing, just to point out with the 8 players, is that in 8 players, there will be 2 traitors, I believe.
Could be.
Could be? No, I think it is for sure. In 7, it's possibly 2. More, it's always 1 with the possibility of 2.
We played with 7?
We played with 7.
Okay, sorry, yes.
Yeah, so in 6 players, there's a possibility of no traitors, and in 7, there's always 1 with a possibility of 2, and then 8, there's always 2 because you use all the loyalty cards. If I miss anything else, we'll just bring it up, but pretty much that's what the expansion adds if you have not played that, which I guess... Did you play with the expansion before that?
No, that was my first experience with the expansion. All
right, well, let's just start off with how we thought about the expansion. We've played with the expansion a few times now, and a lot without it, but let's talk about the expansion. What was your first thoughts, since this is your first time playing with it?
For me, I thought it added a lot to the game. Merlin, I felt like he might have done more for us, but because he's Merlin after all. But in terms of getting the white cards, in terms of having the ability to mitigate those very bad cards that were the witches, it felt thematic. It felt like, okay, he's done something really great for us. And we had to pay a lot for it. So the travel deck, as much as it was a frustration and it was overwhelmingly negative, I felt that way anyway. I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary when you have so many players. There's just so much going for the players that it would be unbalanced if it didn't have that extra bad thing going on. Which is cool, because at first you were like, I don't like this at all. Right. When it first started happening, it seemed like, what is going on? We're going to get crushed. Yeah. But once we started as players getting a head of steam, then it seemed like, oh yeah, so we do need this. And all in all, I think I'll play with the expansion. Do you have it, or? I do have it. I've just never used it. Oh yeah. I think
I kind of like what you're saying with that. And I like that it adds the other player cards as well. Because that is, it's just super cool that you have different abilities. Although I think that a couple of them are clearly better, so we always randomize it. So if you get the purple character, we usually just draw a dice, and then whatever color die you get, that's the character, and then you roll it 1, 2, 3, you get this card. 4, 5, 6, you get this card.
House rule.
House rule.
House rule. Yeah.
I like it.
Oh my god, I added a house rule.
Yes, you did.
I remember this from when we talked about it in the topic.
All right.
Yeah.
When you were talking about having 2 character cards, I thought you were going to say that if one character always gets stuck in a certain role, like you're the catapult fighter, have fun the rest of the game.
Right, because you're going to be doing the same thing throughout the whole
Yeah.
Then it's nice to have a different
game.
option.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I did. I don't remember how it says to pick. I know it for sure says that either you choose to use all the new cards or old cards, or you can also choose to pick, like whatever character you get, you just choose which card to use. So the house rule is, yes, roll the die to pick the card for you.
Okay, just thought of a house rule. What if you go on a quest and you fail a quest, then you get to choose the other character?
Oh, this guy sucks. Get him out of here.
Exactly. Tag him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess the special abilities, I don't know. I guess like the interesting thing about it is each game you play, the special abilities I think kind of also define the game, because it does add a lot of strategy on what's going on. But some of those are clearly not fun. They're not fun. I mean, some of the, like the catapult one is probably not fun. It's a good special ability, but it does not lend itself to a very fun experience.
Well, unless that's what you like. If you like
Being
going
mindless?
if you just like, it's like, I just like sitting here and taking out catapults.
Well, I guess though,
And
if
I
you
roll
get it,
really low.
if you get it, then you act like you hate the game, but you're really the traitor.
Yeah. And you roll the dice and you're like, oh man, I rolled too high.
Yeah, but
I don't have that much.
Yeah.
Waste a lot of your turns.
I don't know if I want to be the traitor and go after that. I want to be like Matt.
Yeah.
So Matt, this is on your top 10.
Yes.
I don't think it's on yours, is it, Eric?
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
So do you like it better without the expansion? Better with the expansion?
I could probably do it either way, but I do like it with it.
That's fair.
It's even being the traitor, and like I said, it was frustrating to watch all the loyal players just constantly draw cards because they're all piled up at the same spot with Merlin. But even though we lost, it was still a close game.
It was very tight at the end.
It was very tight. So and if Merlin wasn't there, I think the traitors could just steamroll probably the
That's
loyal
fair.
people. And
I actually think that was a concern that the expansion addressed, was that eventually with more players, the good side had a better chance.
right.
Oh, you think so?
Oh, clearly.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that's also why they added so many really harsh special black cards to the game.
Like everybody takes a hit.
Yeah, or like draw 3 of them and do them all or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Why couldn't they come out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it.
And I think that, I don't remember if the original game had any of these cards, but the ones that are global passives that come out and say like the next time a quest is failed,
You get
like
an
you
extra
suffer another black sword
or something,
Right.
or
Yeah.
you can't use any Merlins
Oh.
until
like I
something
don't remember
happens.
if those were in the game. I think those are expansion cards.
I think so too.
I think so because I think you told me the heroism card was an expansion.
Is it?
I
that's-
thought you said it was, and it's kind of like the opposite, where I could put it at a location and you can get double the white.
Right.
So it would make sense, I guess, if it kind of came with the same.
Yeah, that makes
expansion.
sense. We played it so much with the expansion now, I kind of forget which of the actual cards that are in the decks come with it.
Right.
But it's the witches for sure. There's like 7 witches, and they are pretty bad.
Brutal.
Mhm.
Yeah, maybe not all of them, but most of them are really bad.
Well, they progressively get worse, I guess, through the 7. Right.
I thought that, but I think maybe some of the middle ones are not as bad, but it seems like they get worse if it's like witch number 1 versus witch number 7 or whatever, vice versa.
Right.
And it can be a bit situational.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's what's weird is this game is out of print, and it's super hard to find apparently.
What was it?
Do you mean the expansion or the actual game?
Both.
Really?
Yeah. Like
That-
why
that
would
is
I don't
surprising.
know why you would let this game get to that position.
Right.
I'm gonna see. Let's see. I mean, Eric, what did you think about this game?
I do have a couple of negative points that I kind of put out there too.
And blasphemy.
Right? I feel like a lot of times on your turn, you don't get to do a lot. Like your turns are really quick, which is kind of good, I guess, but also a lot of times you don't do a lot. You might just fight a catapult. All right, that's the end of my turn. And also, I feel like there's a lot of times where your turn is net zero, meaning that you do something, you put out a catapult, and then you fight that catapult and get rid of it. Well, nothing really happened in your turn,
Right?
Because you put one out and destroyed it.
Well, realistically, everyone's turn's very basic.
Right.
I'm gonna put this one on the spot. Bam.
And then on top of that, I don't really feel that you have a lot of actual choices. Like, all right, I'm at this quest. This is what I'm doing every time when it gets to my turn. So there's not, on your turn, you're not, I could do this or this or this. You're doing you already know what you're going to be doing every time.
True. I think the game
that's okay.
is
meant to
be like the social aspect.
Exactly. I think it's, and you're not supposed to feel like you're really gaining on the game, and you just feel like you're not doing nothing.
The whole game you're collectively playing poker, but talking about it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's all you're doing most of the game.
Absolutely.
And if you don't like that part, that's fine. I guess, but that's just, I think that's what the game lends is. It's more of a social thing. You're not, the game is really super basic. There's nothing to it really. But
yeah.
You're not actually questing. You're not actually
Right,
doing anything heroic.
Right.
Because a lot of it is the decisions on how you do the progression of evil.
Sure.
I think I should draw a card. No, I think you should put down a siege engine. Is it sacrifice of life? I don't want to go down to one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of social aspect on that, and then the heroic action is kind of like, well, you already knew I was going to do this. So,
right.
There
Yeah.
we go. There's about one card that I'm here for.
Right.
Yeah.
That's an interesting point. So all the games that came after this that have traitors in them, like the Resistance or something like that, they do everything in a much smaller footprint in a much shorter space. But then they don't have the gorgeous components, and they don't have the theme of King Arthur at all. If that's something that you enjoy, then this is a game that's really going to click with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say if you haven't played this, you would do yourself a favor and obtain it somehow. Because apparently on Amazon there's offers for $150.
Wow.
So nope. And the expansion is $165
itself.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm selling mine.
Yeah. It's out here.
Yeah. Just proxy that.
Yeah. If you need this game, email George at
george.breden@gmail.com.
I bet Camelot. I wonder if on the Board Game Geek store people have it up for a lot cheaper.
I'm sure over Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, $25.
Do what? That's a
The
pretty big difference.
25. That's 2005. I mean, yeah. English edition. Played 3 times. Very close to new.
There you
so
go.
I don't know. People are just nuts. I think Amazon is literally not the place you go to price anything.
That's a good point.
No.
Do you hear me? Half price books.
Right.
Thank you.
Of course, off market. It fits from Amazon. It's usually in stock and normal pricing.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I guess we don't have to add too much more to this unless you have anything else to.
No, I just I would say I like the trader aspect to this game because it is kind of easier to kind of blend in with everybody and then kind of pounce at the end.
I would say that I've always been worried about.
You're pouncing. It's a pounce.
I've always been kind of worried about being the trader. It's actually fairly easy.
Yeah.
You can
you blend in.
You blend in easily as long as you aren't making crazy decisions outside of
as long as you don't go after Lancelot's armor.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to play.
I even got a group okay on that one though. That's what was weird.
But then you went back.
Yeah. Well, y'all didn't catch that till too late.
I was like, what's Matt doing?
You're wasting time over there, Matt.
It's because Cyrille was way more obvious.
She was a little obvious, but that's all right.
Eric got what? No. Letting that slide over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like, what? Out of all the times we played, that's the first time we actually had 2 traders. We played it a lot of times with 7, but there's always been 1 trader.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
I really like this because the two traders don't even know who they are.
Right.
Right.
It's not like Werewolf where they get to lay down and
Look at each other real quick.
then look at each
yeah.
other.
Right. That's probably good because the game's hard enough that you don't need.
Yeah, which I don't
Coordinate.
Yeah,
even.
you know, the coordinating.
Yeah.
I don't see really. You don't even need to know the other trader to kind of work with each other
You
in
don't.
this game. Yeah,
No.
you just need to not play optimally.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
So,
Well, cool.
One more call forward.
Yep.
Another house rule. There's a card that comes in the Merlin deck that says captured, and it means that you have to put your figure on it, and you don't get to do anything until somebody else comes and plays a card. To
Like spins a
save
white
you.
card.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You can't spend that card yourself.
exactly.
Somebody else has to come and save you.
Right.
So here's an issue. What if I think for sure that Matt's a traitor and he gets captured? I can just leave him on that card. I don't have to save him at all. And I can convince everyone else to just leave him on that card the rest of the game.
You could.
And it becomes the sort of Battlestar Galactica problem where you've been put in
Does it
jail.
skip their turn, I guess?
What can they do?
Yeah, I think it does.
Or-
I think you're captured. You lose your turn until someone
Forever.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Releases
I don't
you.
know rules wise, but I think that at any point you can reveal yourself as a traitor.
Oh, is that right?
Oh.
I think you can. Yeah. I don't think it actually costs an action. You can just be like, maybe so, maybe not.
Of course, if I'm wrong about him being a traitor.
I
then-
used a card that specifically said reveal yourself.
But it gave you an ability for doing it.
Right, it gave me an ability to do it.
I can't remember, but that is an interesting problem. I think if you were to house rule it, just maybe you can't spend the card that turn, but you can spend it next turn, and that's all it does. So you
Okay.
essentially lose a turn.
Or if I was the traitor and I knew he wasn't a traitor, let's say somehow, or if, I suspected he wasn't a traitor, but I could convince everyone else that he was a traitor, and we could just
There you
lock
go.
him out
Right.
the rest of
Well,
the
that's
game.
part of the game.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. He has to have a compelling argument against it.
All right.
Yeah, we captured him.
So you
Like,
don't.
I gave you 4 grails in.
So no need for a house rule then. We don't need to.
Right.
Yeah, I think the social element. When any game that's the weird thing about games with a lot of social element. You almost can self-balance just based off of that.
That's true. Because I would feel bad enough for him eventually that even if I thought he was a traitor, I'd go light him out.
He's
It's like,
paid.
you know what? Maybe you aren't the traitor.
Yeah.
Maybe you are good. I'll let you out. And then it makes you look like a good guy.
Exactly.
So, yeah, interesting. All right, final thoughts.
No, I liked it.
No, good. Yep.
Still in your top 10, Matt?
Yep.
Cool.
Still a great game. I was going to sort of walk back what I said about the Resistance and games like that coming out after it and maybe supplanting it. I don't think they have, because there's the Shadows over Camelot card game, which I also have. I've played it once or twice.
It is terrible.
It's
It is
terrible.
Awful.
It is terrible.
You need the full game to have the experience. So
Yeah.
the smaller version isn't necessarily
That's
an
like-
improvement
Is it
at all.
enough?
Shadows over Camelot memory.
Memory maths.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It should come in that little memory box for like the kids and stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah. Anyway, that is Shadows over Camelot with the Merlin's Company expansion.